Hey, what's going on, YouTube? This is your boy Jamar84 here once again. And before any of you ask any questions, no, I did not cut my hair. I just have it tied back today, as you can see. Just have them tied back today. I didn't really feel like dealing with them today, being all in my grill today, so I just tied them back. So, we are here, as you can see from the title. I forget where YouTube put the title, up top, at the bottom, wherever. You see what the title of the video is. We're going to get into this part 1 of this reunion. Now, to be completely honest with y'all, the best part of the reunion was already showed in the previews, in my opinion. We already saw the best part, which is pretty much the whole Joseline and Mimi conversation. There was some little small, funny, shady parts that were kind of interesting, but for the most part, this shit was kind of boring. But in usual fashion of my videos, we're going to go play by play and discuss some of the things that I felt were actually interesting. Rashida is sitting next to Kirk. And, you know, she's pregnant and she reveals, well, we already knew it was going to be a boy. She revealed that the name was going to be Carter, the name was going to be Carter Frost. I'm like, oh, well, okay. I mean, standard name. It works, right? So, is what it is. So, we're moving on to Stevie J, Mimi, and Joseline are on stage and whatnot. You know, just this is the whole, we saw in the previews when Joseline was talking about Mimi's boobs. I think Mona Scott asked Joseline how she feels about Mimi's boobs, and she was like, well, it looks like she sucked her ass out through a straw and put it on her chest. I'm like, Joseline, shut up. Because your whole everything is shot, so, girl, come on. And then, you know, Joseline, whenever Joseline gets into a fight with somebody, usually she says, oh, you know, she old, this old bitch, those old. I'm like, Joseline, one day you will get old. Okay? One of these days, you're going to be an old little granny, and you still can't be rapping talking about another bitch is old when you're sitting there with motherfucking crow's feet your damn self, okay? So, I wanted Joseline to get a better comeback, but regardless of the fact, it's still funny. And while Joseline and Mimi are going back and forth, here's Stevie J getting up, you know, like, yeah, you know, I'm the man, I got bitches fighting over me and shit. Mimi was like, whoa, nigga, calm that shit down. Ain't nobody fighting over you. Don't even sit up there and like you something cute. I'm gonna need you to have a seat. And I want to know, why is it, like, this part really looked like a motherfucking choreographed scene. Like, when Joseline got up, when Mimi and Joseline were arguing, Joseline got up, it seemed like the whole fucking FBI, SWAT team, and Coast Guard went up on stage and was like, what's going on? I'm like, it looked like choreography. It wasn't like the Bad Girls Club reunion. Like, it was kind of like sporadic and it looked more unpredictable. It looked like everybody's like, okay, I'm going to go here. This is the formation. I'm going to stand here. I'm going to stand here. You stand here to my side, and we're all going to go up like this. And they just stopped there. It looked like it was a pose. I'm just like, okay, Mona, all right, I guess, girl, but it is what it is. So they move on to Joseline and Carly. They have their little back and forth shit. They asked Joseline if she fuck with Carly. She said, I don't fuck with that old tired ass bitch. And when Mona asked, I need somebody to explain this to me. If somebody knows about this in the comments, I need to know what happened. Because when Mona asked Mimi what their relationship was like between her and K. Michelle, Mimi was like, ask her. I was like, oh, okay. And then she asked K. Michelle, and she was like, we're cordial, we're this or that. I'm like, did something happen? Because I could have sworn they was just, Kiki and Kaka with, Arian about her being gay, and everybody was kind of, hope aesthetic singing Kumbaya, as K. Michelle likes to say. So if somebody knows, what happened between that, I'm like, let me know, because I'm curious. But we move on to Shay and Erica. Now, Erica, I love you. She's been one of my favorite on the show. I said she's always been one of the most level-headed of all the females on this show. But tonight, you were painted like a clown, darling. They shaded you, girl, because she had like blue, pink, bright pink, and it's just a lot of color, but it just didn't come together, in my opinion. It just seemed like it was just so much. She looked like a clown. Like, I believe, like, when she was in the reunion, not the reunion, but the last episode, when she was, doing those modeling shoots, and she had like a calm, I think she had like maybe a nude lipstick and like really calm makeup. She looks great. But trying to add all this color just makes it do too much, and it's just, But the rest of the outfit was pretty cute. But Shay, you know, her and I going back and forth. And Shay, you really just need to go in the corner somewhere because, well, okay, granted, let me come to Shay's defense for like 5 seconds. The thing with Shay is she felt like Erica and Scrappy weren't happy. And because they were on the rocks, Scrappy came to her. So she felt like what they had was pretty much dying or dead. So she was like, well, he was lying to both of us. He was lying to you, saying that, you know, I'm just some side piece, but he was lying to me, saying that our relationship is over. So, you know, she's like, what I did was justified. And then here Erica goes like, oh, I thought we was on season 2, right? Oh, okay, we're not going to try to backtrack. But then this is when Shay laid into Erica for a quick second. She was like, yeah, it's season 2 and your ass still ain't married, bitch. I was like, ooh, okay. I was like, yeah, Shay. Oh, she got that one little dig. Now, she did kept trying to go like, you look better than me. I look better than you. I look better than you. I'm like, Shay, you do not look, no, not than Erica. Not with that 42,000-inch weave you were sporting through the goddamn confessionals, girl. And then your mouth just, yeah, no. Oh, and what I wanted to say about when Joseline and Carly Red was going at back at it, and she was like, do you mess with Carly Red? She was like, I don't fuck with that old tired ass bitch. Because she did, you know, listen to all the stuff. Carly Red tried to come back at Joseline and was like, can somebody translate that, please? I need Rosetta Stone, blah, blah, blah. And Joseline was like, well, translate this, bitch. I don't fuck with you. I was like, Joseline went in and let have. Joseline was not playing no games with nobody on that stage tonight. When Kate Michelle was asked by Mona, does she mess with Carly Red? She was like, you know, we cool. We just started whatever. And she was like, you know, what about somebody? I think somebody asked her about the disc record. She was like, you know, I ain't got no problem with it. That disc record wasn't played on that one radio station. I was like, all these little shady, slow digs. They're just funny. Oh, God. I mean, for the most part, just those little side, you know, shady comments was really what made this part of their reunion what it was, because for the most part it was boring, other than the conversation that was had between Mimi and Joseline later in the episode, but we'll get to that in a sec. So as we approach to the Joseline, Mimi, Stevie J love triangle, you know, they go through all the various scenes about how Stevie J was once with Mimi, she was with Joseline, and then him and Mimi broke up or separated, and he was trying to find out where she lived, and him being with Joseline, trying to hold this whole engagement, all that whole thing. And they talked about the heads of lettuce. For those of y'all who don't associate the heads of lettuce with relations, you're too young to be watching this video and this show. So click the little X wherever it is. Click it now. And for those of you who are old enough and just don't understand, I mean, a head of lettuce, you know, in sex, head is sucking a man's penis. So, boom, lettuce. There you go. Just in case. And this is the confusion that I had. So when Mona Scott asked about what was Mimi's, did she have a problem with Joseline and vice versa? Let me see if I remember this correctly. Mimi said that she didn't have a problem with them being together. I believe her problem was her being around her daughter. I believe I have that right. And then Joseline's thing was, Joseline felt like she had a problem with Mimi because of that same reason. Like when she would bring Ava, however they pronounce the name, to the house with Stevie, that she and Joseline would not speak. And I'm like, well, there's really nothing for the two of you to talk about. First of all, you were in the relationship, or he was with you when he was supposed to be with me, okay? And when I'm bringing my daughter just, you know, by the house just to see her father, that really doesn't have anything to do with you, Joseline. Now, I understand that you want to be, you know, copacetic and cordial and whatever, but coming from Mimi's standpoint, I don't really need to fuck with you. Like, you're not involved in this situation. This is between him and I and Ava. Like, I mean, we don't have to necessarily personally ignore each other, but we don't necessarily have to be friends and bud buddies either. So, I mean, this really shouldn't be that big of a deal. Like, if you really wanted to have that kind of relationship with Mimi, I felt like you was waiting for her to make the move, and since she didn't, then you had a problem with it. And I'm just like, Joseline, that's kind of out your scope, boo. That shouldn't be something that you should even be worrying about. And then when they was going back and forth, when Mimi was going back and forth between Stevie and Joseline, Mona Scott tried to cut the commercial break, and Mimi said, "No, fuck a commercial break." I was like, God damn, Mimi, she just up here regulating the commercial breaks and shit. Mimi was gonna get what the fuck she had to say out. Okay, she was not gonna let no bitch censor her. But I was like, okay, go ahead and get it, Mimi, but it is what it is. And then when they talked about the whole Ava and Joseline having a problem, Stevie J kept trying to talk, trying to make us look like he's the good guy. Joseline was like, what you're good at, you're good when it comes to business and money and your beefcake. And then Mimi was like, the beefcake ain't that good. Joseline was like, oh, bitch, you and I both know. Don't even talk like that shit ain't good. I'm just like, what is happening on my TV screen? It was just a whole bunch of ratchetness, but I was loving it. I was loving it. And then, Mona Scott asked, do you sympathize with Joseline in any way? And then, Mimi was like, of course I do. My mother gave me up for a religion when she was young. Not Joseline, but Mimi also went through the same, stages of this relationship with Stevie J. So she was like, I definitely understand, where she's coming from. And of course, that triggers Joseline to start talking about her and her mom. And, she does that cry like, I know what this Stevie, you don't know what they do. I have to go to it. You know how Joseline gets when she gets all emotional and tries to talk at the same time. Let's see, what other one? Oh, Mona asked Stevie, now this is the part I was getting frustrated. Mona asked this man, so Stevie J, in front of Joseline, in front of Mimi, in front of the viewing audience, and in front of the world, are you engaged to Joseline? Stevie J gonna rub his hands together and be like, I like how you asked that question. I hate this damn clock. I always get fucked up with my recordings with this damn clock. But anyway, he was like, I like how you answered that question. And we're like, what does that say? So we asked him again. And she was like, what the fuck did he say? He, he was like, stay tuned. Stay tuned? Nigga, if I was Joseline, I would be pissed. I would be like, really, nigga? For real? You can't sit here and just actually... I would have been so disrespectful, but Joseline was just sitting over there laughing and kiki, and I'm like, girl, that's not cute. That means I don't know if y'all had an agreement that y'all wasn't gonna say this on the show, but that's not, if a dude ain't gonna willing to declare it in front of the world, then it is what it is. But let's move on to Mama D. I want to know what the hell was on Mama D's head. I need to know what belly dancer did she steal that belly chain from to pin on the top of her forehead like she really gonna take this queen thing as far as she can motherfucking stretch it, bitch. And I just can't deal with her. I can't deal with it. I just can't deal with it. Mama D, oh Lord have mercy. I just don't know what to say about Mama D anymore at this point. I just don't. But, pretty much for the rest of the reunion, Erica and Scrappy, they talk about their daughter and what went through with the engagement, and she cries. He basically says she wants the best for him. They were still working on being friends. Blah, 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 blah. Scrappy was like, well, I appreciate her for the time that she was there, but she always wasn't there, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm like, well, Scrappy, here's the thing. Erica's working, from what I understand, and she's trying to take care of your daughter. She can't be running around you on your drug games and all your other foolishness. So she can't always be there, but she's going to try to be there when she can because she actually gives a fuck. Okay? And in the reunion between Tracy and Drew and their whole thing, and all they pretty much solved was that Tracy and Drew pretty much still have feelings for one another, which is why they acted the way they did. But who didn't figure that out, right? But that's pretty much the end of part 1. Now, I said part 2 looks like it's going to be hella interesting, okay? Because Nico's red ass comes out, and then him and Stevie J square up, and you know Stevie making that damn face, throws money in the air and shit. Now somebody tweeted this on Twitter, and I had to retweet this because I thought this shit was funny. She was like, "I don't give a damn if I'm on Bill Gates status. If money is thrown, I'm going to pick that shit up with no shame." And I said, "Amen, amen." But that's that's the end of the review, you guys. Make sure you guys comment about all the topics discussed in the video. And as I said at the end of every video, if you want to send me a question, as I do with my Q&As with Jays, I'm actually going to record episode 4 as soon as I turn this camera off. But if you want me to answer your question, just send me an email to Jamar84, JAMAR84 @gmail.com, and you'll be featured in the next coming episodes of Q&A with Jay, and I'll answer your question in your own personal video. So, with that being said, I love you guys so much, more than words can express, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.